offer us.
Epic Adventures with Bertie Gregory, a Disney Plus Day premiere, September 8th on Disney Plus.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Nigeria Chambers of Big Gold Belt Media. Bertie, it's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Good to chat with you too.
Before we get into anything, I really was excited to talk to you. I wanted to look in your face. I wanted to see your smile. You have such radiant energy, and watching this series, I was just so compelled of just how free-spirited you are. You take a lot of responsibility in your craft, but just your energy is like the first thing you see. Of all the amazing spectacles you see, it's your energy that I first gravitated to. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And you're 29 years old. Come on, dude. You got it figured out already.
Definitely not figured out. Every day's a school day, but yeah, it's going pretty well so far.
That's awesome. So, you know, in this series, I mean, some of the most wildest, like, images of wildlife that one can only imagine to see. What's your thoughts knowing you're going on in these adventures, and then when you actually get there, because you look calm, and even in times where you're kind of like your cast may be nodding off or whatever it may be, you're always laser focused, especially with the leopard seal. That was ridiculous. Like, you were so calm, and I was like, dude, I'm having anxiety. But like, what kind of keeps you in the game phase and prepared for all these situations?
Yeah, I mean, in the case of the leopard seal, right? That's a really intimidating animal. It's like swimming with a dragon, right?
Yeah.
And big loads of teeth. And what is important is that whenever you're filming an animal, particularly underwater, like, you need to be close to the animals because of the limitations of the visibility of the water, right? And so the animals, on land, often you're hidden, but underwater, the animal knows that you're there and it needs to be cool with that. And so how you behave is really, really important, because a lot of animals, particularly predators, will respond to how you behave, right? So if you're really nervous and scared and your heart rate's really high and you're freaking out, the animal's going to reflect that, and that's not a situation you want to be in. A freaked out leopard seal is bad. Whereas if you're calm and cool and confident, that's how the seal will be with you. Yeah. So that's what you've got to think about. But in terms of the preparation, it all goes back from a year in advance sometimes, even more other times. And yeah, we just try and set ourselves up, to win. And that means controlling all of the variables that you can, try and go at the best time of year, do the research, chat to the scientists. And then, when you get up on location, we've got a great team, take lots of camera toys, and fingers crossed Mother Nature cooperates.
I love that, beyond your appreciation for wildlife, you also have an appreciation for technology as well. Sometimes one or the other. And the seal looks like it was having a good time with that camera. He's like, whoa, don't do that, buddy. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you think, like, if you or I see an object that we've never seen before, I mean, that leopard seal had probably never seen it. No, certainly had never seen a human in its life. We're in the middle of nowhere. So if you and I see a new object like this chair and we want to know what it is, well, we use our hands to feel it. Well, leopard seal doesn't have any hands, right? So it uses its teeth instead. And you just got to have that in the back of your mind while it's having a chew on the camera.
Again, about your personality and the energy that you give off. Within the episodes, there was a lot of success, but there was also other times where you weren't able to accomplish what you were there for, which I completely appreciate the authenticity of that, because typically in shows like that, it's always like win.
Everyone's winning,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So I really connected with that. What's sort of the takes after that? Like when you're talking to the cast and kind of keeping everybody morale. Like, obviously you seem to be very at peace with it, but how do you kind of keep your team together with this? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the people we were working with, the series I've worked with for a long time. They're some of my best friends. And actually, you kind of feed off each other, and I need just as much reassurance as they do. So in the case of the Antarctic fin whale episode, the person filming me underwater with the leopard seal and with the whales is a really good friend of mine called Dan Beecham. He's one of the world's top wildlife underwater cinematographers. And we were sharing a room on the little boat, and we were in these it's like being in a coffin, in these coffin bunks, and his was above me. And every night while we were rolling around in the waves, because all the anchorages were just rubbish, they were all really badly protected, and there'd just be ice grinding down the side of the hull. I'd have Dan above me, and it was sort of like talking to God, because he was above me, and it was like, Dan, are we gonna be able to pull this off? Like, is this really gonna work? And he's he's been around. So he was like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We got this. And then to be in the water with him when, finally the fin whale comes right past, that was pretty cool. I remember we just looked at each other, and obviously you can't chat underwater, but both our eyes were like dinner plates. Like, what have we just seen?
Do you also have conversations with your crew outside of filming about sort of the gag reels that you catch, catching everybody sleeping in, and it's like, oh, it's showtime, and everybody wakes up, or when everybody was sick on the boat and for whatever reason you were perfectly fine?
Well, I should say that I do get seasick.
Okay, I was about to say.
What's interesting is that lots of people see that journey to Antarctica through the infamous Drake Passage, and ask if I get seasick, and I go, yeah, and they go, oh, well, I don't get seasick, I think I'd be fine. It's like, well, just before you make that claim, I grew up going on boats all the time. I used to deckhand on a whale watching boat. I could make the T in the bottom of the boat in the waves, and I was fine. Yeah. Crossing the Drake Passage, that stretch of water between South America and Antarctica in a sailboat, is different to any other boat anywhere else. And so, I find that I'm fine with two-dimensional swell. Yeah. The moment that there's three-dimensional swell and the waves are coming from multiple directions, and you look out at the ocean and you're like, I'm not really sure how the waves are doing that, and it just looks like a mess. That's when I get, When
you're talking about the variables, another episode with the water buffalo, and you were kind of eyeing in on this encounter that you kind of projected was going to go one way, and the water buffalo kind of had their own plan here, which I love the drama. I was like, I'm all here for this. How do you, what's sort of your revised preparation when stuff like that happens? Is it still like a keep going, or how do you kind of frame it?
Yeah, I think the important thing is, in that case, buffalo versus lions is an age-old battle. It's something that's filmed lots of times before, and we thought, well, we want to, there's no point doing it unless we can show something different or new. And part of the challenge is that traditionally you'd film with cameras like the ones we're using now, like it'd be on a tripod. But these hunts, they move over big areas, and if you're using a tripod, especially from a vehicle with an engine, you got to, get into position, turn the engine off, start filming. And then when the animals move, you've got to move, and so you can't be filming while you're moving. So we used two pieces of technology to solve that. One was a gyro-stabilized camera system that we hung off the front of the vehicle. That's actually the same camera system that was used for the new Top Gun movie to film fighter jet to fighter jet.
Really?
So it's the same system, and it means the vehicle can be moving alongside the lions, and so the viewer feels like they're on the adventure with the lions. And then I was on the drone from above, and having those two angles that can move with the action means we can cut between the two angles, and it feels like you're watching like a sports match.
Yeah. Oh, I need this in 4DX. We got to figure something out here. Oh, that sounds amazing. And you did put a lot of emphasis about stabilization, which, for the viewers, we just assume everything's level. But the fact that you took time to kind of explain the technology, I appreciate it as well. Listen, I had a really good time with this series, and I want to know, when this is all said and done, when it's time for you to walk off into the sunset, what do you want your legacy to be?
Walking off into the sunset. I'm just imagining that for a second. Well, I hope that people will come away from this series just really excited about how amazing our natural world is. But then also, we touch on some of the threats that the natural world faces. And I hope that, people are aware of those things and realize that looking after wildlife is more than just something we should do because it makes us feel warm and fuzzy. We need it for us humans. And without getting too dark and depressing, focus on the good news, because we saw with the fin whale episode, those whales are gathering in bigger numbers than they have done for 20 or 30 years, and that is something we should get excited about. If you give wildlife the chance, it'll come back on an unbelievable scale.
Absolutely. Well, Bertie, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I was actually going to close it out with saying give wildlife a chance, but you beat me to it. But it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And folks, totally check out the epic adventures with Bertie Gregory. It's available now on Disney Plus. 5 or 6 episodes?
5 episodes.
Yeah. it's some of the most amazing cinematography and just adventures and thrills. And of course, you're just so cool at narrating and taking us on adventures for free. So bring your passport. Thank you so much.
Sweet. Thanks a bunch.
Absolutely.